Hello, like-minded people. Welcome to my channel. I want you to feel at home, to feel comfortable here. Please remember to hit the like button when you come in. Subscribe if you haven't. Leave a comment and tell a friend. And tell a friend to tell a friend. And please come back. You're always welcome. Thank you.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to Passionately Intrigued Arts with Tracy. How are you all today? Welcome in. Today, I want to start the process of making this tumbler for Miss T with the T. I believe she wanted me to do it on our show, but the process is rather long, and I'd rather do it this way. I kind of starting in the middle, not in the middle, but I haven't recorded everything. I just now thought about this, so at least you can see the process of me making her cup. And what I'm using is polyester material. So I'm going to do a fabric cup for her. And I printed out an image. I found this really pretty, what do you call it? Background wallpaper of different teacups. And then I took her picture from her profile picture, I believe. I put that on there. And then I found this other little image that's the same. And it's whiskey in a teacup. And I put it all together, and of course I've cut it out already. I sublimated on the material. It's just this white polyester material that I purchased from the Dollar Tree, y'all. Polyester, yes, fat quarter. And printed it out, cut it out, and sublimated already. So you all are not going to see that process, but I'll show you what it's looking like. This is what I come up with. I thought it was so cute. She has that teacup, in her hand, and then whiskey in a teacup. She's a little pistol, so I put that on there with all these teacups on the back. So I'm going to take you down and show you how I'm going to put this onto the cup. This is the cup that I have. I've sanded it to the best of my ability, and so with the fabric, I'm thinking and hoping that I could form it into these divots here. Okay, so let me take you down. I have a little bit of this left. I'm going to use what I have left in here, and I'm going to coat the top of this cup, this tumbler. Where's my paintbrush? There's not much in here, but I want to use it. And I'm just going to just put a little bit on this front part right here. I'm just going to do a little bit at a time because this cup is larger at the top and smaller at the bottom. So it's tapered, and I'm going to have to fit the back, fit it together down here at the bottom. And I don't know why I put it up here. I don't want to go all the way up to the top of this cup because I want to start the material about right here so that there's a little piece of this stainless steel showing so that I can have a good seal over the top of this material so that nothing seeps into it. And hopefully the bottom I'll have a little area left here also so that I can get a good seal attaching the material, the fabric, to the cup without anything penetrating through it once it's done and she washes it. And just take this piece of fabric and set it up here to where I have a little lip of the stainless steel. And I'm just trying to make it even. And this is why I only put a little bit of glue right here. I'm going to work on a section at a time because I'm going to have to slit this. I'm going to have to fit this in around the bottom, being that the bottom is tapered and smaller. So you have the glue on the inside, then you put the glue all over the top side. And it dulls it right now, but this will dry clear. And I'm using this dishwasher safe. And this is just my first coat. This will be epoxied. So there's several coats that it's going to take to make this. Another reason why I'm not doing this on live with Miss T. Sorry, Miss T. It's just a process and it takes a lot of time. So my thoughts are to do this first area here and let that dry and get it down good, adhered good. And then from there, I can work on each section and see where I'm going to need to split it, taper it in. And I have it set on this cup holder. I made this cup holder, just 2 pieces of wood from the Dollar Tree, angled it, and I had all these plastic containers here, and I just built a base, glued it together, And this definitely helps when you're doing any type of cups, glasses, tumblers, to hold your item in place. So I don't know if you can see this, but it's just a little bit of the stainless steel showing down here at this bottom, and less than a quarter inch, about an 1/8 inch up here at the top. And I'm just soaking. I'm putting enough on here that it penetrates through this material. And then I'll just even this out and make sure there's no bubbles underneath it. So you just keep smoothing it over. And I'm going to let this dry. And once this is dry, then I can turn it and work on another part. So I'll be back. Okay, so this part has dried like this and like this. So I have to work on getting this edge straight. But because this cup is tapered, the material falls like this, and so it's not going to be straight right there. So I'm going to work on this top part to lay that down as straight as I can. But when I do that, there's going to be a buckle right here. So I'm going to have to adjust this material so that it can lay down flat. Because as you see here at the bottom, if it just lays, see how the material goes. So if I pull it down to keep that edge even up here, then we have this buckle that I'm going to have to work with. So what I'm going to do first is just, I think I'm going to cut a slit in here. Now I've got this divot right here, so if I can try and cut it along that right here, that might help for it to lay down better. So I'm just going to cut straight up, not too far, maybe halfway. Then that way I can work on this portion. Might have to cut it up just a little bit further, which I will, just a little bit. Okay, so I'm going to put some Mod Podge on the stainless steel cup. I'm going to do the top first. All right, now I'm going to try and adjust the material, the fabric, starting with the top because I want that to lay even. Then I'll smooth this down into that rivet and try and pull it down straight. Now I'll put some Mod Podge on top. I'm just smoothing it with my fingers to get it down into that groove and laying flat. And the ends of this material fray, so I'm just trying to smooth those up into the material. I don't have a lot of edge down here on some spots, but some spots I do. But I'm going to take something to cover that when it's all said and done. I'm going to work it out. Okay, I'm going to turn the cup a little bit and try and work with this other part of the material. Putting Mod Podge on the cup first, the tumbler first. I see I'm going to have to get another bottle real soon. This was about gone. Okay, so now I want to try and even this. Keep it, at least keep this top part lined up. So I'm going to lay it down up here first at the top edge and cover it with Mod Podge. Then I'll work my way down, trying to lay this flat and even. But because I cut it, I can lay it a little better. We're gonna see. And if I have a little pocket here, then I'll just cut the material up just a little bit further. But let me get some glue on here first. You can still work with it because it's not dry. Yeah, I got a little pocket right here, so I'm gonna have to cut that up just a little bit further. Okay, I got enough glue on here where I can work with it. So let me lift it up and cut this up just a little bit further. I don't want that pocket in there. Okay, I'm gonna smooth it back down and line it back up. And then rub down into that dip right there. And then rub the frays across, the frays of the material, so that they go up into the material. Okay, let's see how we're doing. I think I got it. So I'm gonna let this part dry. And we'll be back to work on the other side. What I do, just set my little fan right here. Turn it so you can see. Turn my little fan on and let that dry. And I'll be back once again. So this side has dried and it's down pretty smooth. So I've got this side to lay down. So we got this much so far. So now I'm going to flip it over and attach this side. And as you see, it angles. It doesn't do right. So I'm going to have to do the same thing on this side. Line it up at the top here. And then I will have to cut some of the material and overlap it. So let's see. I'm going to hold on right here that I have it lined up all the way across and it meets right there. And then I'm going to take my scissors. Wait a minute, because see there's another dip on this side right here. So I'm going to try and take my scissors with the material right along that. Where's that divot? Right there. And I'm just going to cut straight up. So a little over halfway. Then I'll work on this small piece right here to lay this down. And then we'll even this up and lay that down. I'm even going to cut up a little bit further. Okay. So I'll fold that over. And I ran out of the other Mod Podge. So it doesn't matter what type of Mod Podge you use. Now I have some Super Gloss Brilliant Mod Podge, and we're going to use that. And I'm going to pour a little bit in a container and work with that. And each time you do a section and you let it set to dry, wash your brush out. So I'm going to put it on the cup first. Get it down in there as best I can from where it is laying down here from the previous drying. So I'm going to go along this edge. And then just add more. Okay, now pull your material over and line it up. And I'm just doing a small section, but I want to smooth that down. And I'm going to put some more glue. Now I'm going to put the glue on the top of the fabric. Just working with this small little piece first. And you can smooth it with your fingers. Okay, so now I'm going to turn it around a little bit more, line this piece up again, and so now you see that this here will overlap this section. Yep, like that. But I'm going to lift it up and put glue on the bottom, on the metal. Making sure to cover this edge so that it lays over and seals. Okay. So come back up here and line that edge up. Right there. Then hold on to your material and bring it straight down. Now we got this little pucker here from where I cut this line up here. So just smooth it out. Put this one on top and smooth that down. So now you'll add your Mod Podge to the outside. But what I'm going to do first is make sure I've got enough Mod Podge underneath this edge of fabric. So I'm just going to go in here up underneath that. And then smooth that over. Okay. Now I'll cover it with Mod Podge. And I'm coming this way to where this edge is just to smooth that over. So I'll let all of this dry. And then once this dries, I'll go over the entire cup again with Mod Podge. And I'm just going to go around and just smooth it out. Make sure I don't have any bubbles, any lumps in here. And I can actually go around now and then let it dry completely. So I'm going to use what I have. And then sometimes if your Mod Podge is too thick, you can put a few drops of water in this Mod Podge to thin it out. It's a little thick now, but I'm not getting up. Let's see what make it do what it do. So I'm going to just going all the way around. Since the rest of the cup is dry, I'm going to go all the way around with this Mod Podge. And I'm going over the top of the edge just to make sure that gets sealed in good. Sealed onto the metal, onto the stainless steel. Good. And you see as it dries how clear it is. It dries clear. But you just want to make sure you cover those seams really good and that your fabric is adhering, attaching to that stainless steel. Okay, I'm going to let that dry completely. And then I'll work. So you see how you have to cut it up to fit it on here. So this edge all the way around is not the same. I'll have to, once it dries, I can cut this all the way around to make a smooth edge. Just turn it out nice. Turn it upside down and turn that fan on. And after a while, I'll just turn this around to get the other side good. So let's see where I'm gonna start. I'm gonna start drying this tea with the tea in the front first. So it's pretty dry, so I'm gonna try and trim this evenly. That's what I'm gonna do next. So I have my Fiskar finger, whatever you call this thing, blade, I forget what it's called, I don't know. So I'm gonna start here, because this is like the highest point. And I'm just going to just try to go evenly and saw it back and forth. See if I can cut this little part off. Let me see how. Let me see if it's cutting through. I don't know. Let me do it a little bit more. Yeah, that's the ideal. So let me keep going all the way around. I'm giving it a little pressure and just sawing back and forth. But I want to try and make that lip right there even all the way around. That's not too bad. I want to look at this top, and that actually is pretty good. Okay, so I'm ready for the next process, which will be the UV resin. I'm going to add some rhinestones to the cup. I think I might go around this rim, and I'm going to go around the bottom and see how that looks, and then it's possible that I might trim this top of the rim here. And I have, it's called Kale Yay, and it's by period6glitter.com, and this is the color that I chose. I think they're really beautiful, and they should stand out, pop out on this cup. I was going to do pink because it's a lot of pinks and purples, but I don't, there's enough pink and purple in there. I'm going to use this green. So I'm just going to start with a few so you can see what I'm doing, using my picker tool. And this is a ergonomic, how do you say that? Type picker tool. And then I'm using liquid fusion, which I have placed in a precision tip bottle. I have taken the tip off. I pulled that tip out and I just let it squirt from here. And so I'll just start with a few. I'm going to start on the side of her T and add a couple dots. Or I guess I'll do a line. I'll do a line and see how many I can get on here. Show you a few of them, and then I'll do the rest off camera and bring it back to you. Just to give a couple of more detail. I think that's going to be pretty. So I'll do the rest and come back. So I got the bottom edge done, and that's really beautiful. So I'm contemplating if I want to do this top edge. I really wanted to, but I have her, Miss T's head is up too high, and I don't want to cover any of that. So I'm thinking, I don't know what I want to do with this. I might not do anything. I might just go ahead and start with my resin. I just wanted to show you that part. I don't want to do too much to this cup. I don't want it to be too busy. It's already busy with all these teacups. Y'all know I couldn't leave well enough alone. I tried my paint pen in gold, and it was too thin. It wasn't really sticking to the metal. So I used my Folk Art Treasure Gold, and I just had to do it. I trimmed the top with the gold. I just felt it needed something. So now I'm ready to resin, finally. And I'm going to start, like I said, with the UV resin to seal everything in. This paint, the fabric, the stones, seal everything in, and then I'll use 2-part epoxy resin. It's time to put this UV resin onto this cup. As you can see, it's very sunny outside. I was going to do it yesterday. I couldn't because it wasn't sunny, and I want to put this outside so the UV rays can cure the resin. So I have this resin, Frinshon, I don't know what it, and I got it off Amazon, and I have a large bottle, and I just keep refilling this one. So I just use a paintbrush, a firm bristle paintbrush, and I pour a little bit into a silicone cup. And it is sunny. I'm going to try and put that where? Over here, out of the sunlight, because I don't want this resin to cure as I'm working. So I'm going to put a little bit in that container, and I wanted to add a little bit of fine glitter just to give this iridescent, just a little shimmer. I was not recording. I am so mad. I'm so mad. So let me tell y'all what I did. Oh boy. So I have some glitter. It's really fine glitter. This is like iridescent white. I only need a tiny bit for that iridescent look. Put that in there, and then I also use this bronze color. And I want very little of this, but I just want that shimmer on the outside of this cup. So I'm going to put that in there. I'm going to add a little bit more. And mix it up. Okay? Okay. So I had this off, but I'm going to leave it on now that it's wet. I had it off of this stand that I made. And just up and down strokes to put this UV resin on. Making sure to pull all the way down past that edge of the material, of the fabric. You want to make sure that it is a solid seal that dries so that when this cup is washed, nothing gets underneath that fabric. So just go up and down and pull all the way down with your resin. All the way around, all the way down. And then if you want to, I usually use my glove to make sure, because you can feel the smoothness if it is fully covered. So I just use my gloved hand and smooth over to make sure it is all covered. Every piece of this tumbler is covered by the UV resin. So I'm just pulling it down past that lip. Okay? And then I'm just going to go around the bottom and make sure. Then you'll get a lighter and get the bubbles out. Let me grab that lighter. A torch. And don't keep it in one area. Go around it really fast. Just to get the Oh, there we go. Just to get the fine bubbles out. Just back and forth rather fast. You don't want to burn anything or discolor. And this gets the tiny bubbles out of your resin. Okay, now I'll take it outside in the sun rays and let it cure. Doesn't take long. I'm gonna leave it out there 15 minutes. So I've got her out here outside, and I'm on my porch. It's not that much sun. I don't want to go out that far and sit it anywhere, and there's not much sunlight in the back yet. But the sun will move, and I'll leave her out here a little bit longer. Maybe I'll go to the backyard. Let's see what's going on back there. Okay, I moved her to the back. We got a lot more sunshine out here. Bring her back in about 15-20 minutes. It's nice and dry. Been out in the sun. I left a good half hour because the sun had to move to hit this. It was kind of shaded back there, but I don't know if you can see the little bit of shimmer that's in here from that fine glitter. But it's dry. That's the whole point. So that's the coat of the UV resin. So now I'm going to put it on the tumbler turner and use I use Dr. Crafty 2-part epoxy resin. Let's get this on here. Am I screwing it the right way? Yeah. And you don't need much. I normally put these in smaller containers, but I haven't. So I just put a little bit, equal parts. Part A, which is the resin, into this little cup. I marked it, I put a line there, and poured the resin to that line. And then I did the same with the hardener, which is part B, and put it into this cup. Drew that line there and poured enough in there for that. You don't need much. If I need more, I'll just mix some more. So the resin, let me move this. The resin of the 2-part is thicker. It's a thicker consistency. The hardener is thin. So what I've learned and what I'm told is that you pour the thicker into the thin. So you pour part, am I doing that right? A? Yeah, pour A into B. The reason is it'll mix better, less bubbles, and it's a heavier consistency, so it has a tendency to pour to the bottom, drop to the bottom. So you just get it all out, scrape your sides, get it out completely as best as you can, because you want the equal parts. And then you mix the two thoroughly, scraping the sides and the bottom for 3 minutes. At least 3 minutes. With this little bit amount, you mix it until it's clear, which is 3 minutes or more, depending on how much resin you're using. And this is very tiny. It might even be ready in 2 minutes. But I'm going to get it all out. And like I'm doing, I'm scraping the sides. All y'all see is my hands and my gloves. Just take your, I got a little popsicle stick, and just scrape it all the way around and get out as much as you can. Get it clean. Scrape the bottom and get that out. Then you scrape this side. Make sure you scrape up and just blend it in. Stir it slowly for 3 minutes. Okay, it's been 3 minutes, and then I have this silicone mat down in case there's any drips, but I don't think there'll be any. There may be, just to cover yourself, because I don't have that much resin, and I might have to mix more. I'm not sure, but I only have that much. It doesn't take much to cover this thin coat. That'll be the first coat, and I'll probably put one more coat on of the part 2 UV resin. With it being a thin coat, it's probably going to take 4 hours to dry completely, and it doesn't necessarily have to be completely dry to add your second coat. It can be a little tacky, but we're going to see how the first coat looks, and I might not have to do a second coat. Now, you can pour this on and then smooth it with your hand. You can use, if you want to, a brush. So I'm just going to use my finger and start smoothing it on here. And like I said, you'll be able to tell that you have epoxy on the entire cup if you feel that it is smooth. When you feel rough spots, that's when you know there's no epoxy there. So see how smooth it is? And then I run into a rough spot, like right there. So just put some more epoxy, because it's turning and I don't know what I've missed and what I've gotten. I know I got that front part. Let it keep going. I'm just going to stop this for a minute because I felt some rough spots. So I'm going to go this way. Just pulling the resin, thinning it out, and pulling it all the way over. Turn it a little bit. And repeat the process. Just so that I know that I have full coverage of epoxy. Because it's going smooth. My finger coming across this cup is going across it really smooth. So that's letting me know that there's epoxy there. So it's pretty smooth all the way around. I won't need any more epoxy for this coverage. And when it completes drying, I'll see if I'll need another coat. If it's smooth, then I'm not going to apply anymore. Okay. So what I do now, there are fine bubbles in here. So you take your lighter, your torch, or you can use alcohol. You can spray alcohol and that gets out fine bubbles as well. But I'm going to use my torch and I'll show you. I don't use alcohol first and then the torch. I'll show you with the torch first. And then if you don't have a torch or lighter, long lighter, let's see, you can use alcohol. Hold on. Okay. So don't get too close and just go back and forth until it turns all the way around to the other side to get those fine bubbles out. And if you look close enough, you won't be able to see, but you'll see them pop. Okay, so I'll let that set up for however many hours it takes for it to cure. At least 4 to 6. And come back at it, see if I need another coat. But let me turn it around so you can see. Oh, let me show you. Or, like I said, if you don't have a torch like that, that's just a kitchen torch. You can spray alcohol on it. But I didn't want to do that first and use the torch, and it might, I don't know what it would do. Because it's alcohol, so I'm sure it might have flamed. Let me turn it this way so you can see. Okay, be back when it's cured. Okay, it's been about 5 or 6 hours, and it's dry to touch. It's not tacky. It's done, and it's smooth enough for me, I believe, to where I don't have to add another coat. It looks good. So I'm gonna take it off of this turner. Take it out. And the last thing I need to do is just clean up this edge. I feel a little roughness from the dried epoxy. Remove this. So what I do is I use an old razor blade, an X-Acto knife. Same one I use all the time. As you can see, it's pretty worn from heating it up with my torch. Let me get a paper towel and alcohol. So I'll heat this up until it turns red. Just a tip of it. Until it turns red. And then I'll just go around the top of the cup and get that excess epoxy off. So I'll just keep heating it up and going around until I get the whole rim of the cup cleared of that epoxy. Some people drink from their tumblers without the top on them, so you want that smooth. Then I'll take some alcohol and just clean that rim up. And to make sure that it is smooth, I'll use a sanding block and just do like this. And then I'll clean it again with alcohol. And of course I'll wash this with warm soapy water. You don't soak it in water. I always put the cleaning instructions, the care instructions in with my cups. You don't dishwasher. It's not dishwasher safe. Some people said they have. You don't leave it soaking. You wash it with warm soapy water and let it dry. And this bottom part, because I've done the style that I've done, I'm not going to do anything to the bottom as far as, because you can glitter this. You know, you can use some epoxy, put a glitter in the epoxy and pour it over the bottom of this and let it cure. But I'm not doing that because I have one of these stoppers that I'm going to put on the bottom. And I normally brand on the bottom, but since this was fabric covered and I used this label here, I'm just going to put this on the bottom. Put that on the bottom. Put her top on here. There you have it. It's all done after I wash it and ready to be shipped to Miss T with the tea. Whiskey in a teacup. Because we don't know what she'd be drinking. I'm teasing. Okay? Thank you so much for watching. I certainly appreciate you. If you have any questions, please let me know. Hit that thumbs up. Leave comments. Like I said, if you have any questions, let me know. I'll answer what I do know. If you haven't subscribed, I would appreciate it if you'd subscribe. Hit the notification bell. Come back for more. Peace and love. I'm out. I'll see you later out in these streets. Have a good one. Toodles. Hope y'all can see this good now. It is complete. I think it is beautiful. Miss T with the T, I certainly hope that you like it. I hope you understand why I did not do this on your channel live, because of the time. It's time consuming. But I put a straw in there for you, and then I have a little brush that you can clean your straw out with. Tell me what you think. I appreciate you. Y'all let me know if you like this. And let me know if you need anything made by Tracy Sweet Touch Production, Passionately Intrigued Arts. I make gifts for all occasions, all ages, all genders. All you have to do is email me. Email, text if you have my number, Instagram. I'm on Instagram, TikTok. So let me know. I have my, in the description, I have that information. And pretty much whatever you see that I have made a video on, I make and I sell as gifts. As always, I thank you for your time. I thank you for stopping by, and much appreciation for your support. Click the notification bell for intriguing content. Thank you.